St. Barts keeps a firm grip on corona controls. St. Martin Medical Center suspends patient visiting hours in light of the increase of COVID-19 cases. And Prime Minister of St. Martin gives latest update of the COVID-19 active cases on the island. Those are the headlines for Monday, July the 27th, 2020. And this is SXM Daily News. I am Valerie Van Putten. Thank you for joining me this evening. And as usual, we have a packed newscast for you, so let's get started. In our first story, the Honorable Prime Minister of St. Martin, Sylvia Jacobs, gives an update of the recent new COVID-19 cases on the island. At the virtual press update, which was attended by Minister of Public Health, Minister of Justice, and the Minister of TEAT, the Prime Minister also announced the introduction of the multidisciplinary task force, which will include the fire department.
As we have been noting over the past few days, the rise in the COVID positive cases has been a concern for government and the population of St. Martin and has had our attention from the get-go. The Ministry of each minister will be briefing on their specific area. The Ministry of General Affairs, mainly right now in terms of the legal affairs support for any type of decision making that would require such. We have had the approval over the weekend of the ministerial regulation for the COVID-19 multidisciplinary task force. This task force will be chaired by the Ministry of General Affairs, but of course, also involved with this team will be the fire department with the enforcement teams that will come out of this. They will be also executing coordinated controls of all establishments to be able to ensure that all measures are being upheld, all protocols are being upheld, or all of these will face the necessary consequences. You will hear more about this from our ministers, the related ministers. As Minister of General Affairs, I would like to clarify that no, the EOC has not been reactivated. I think there has been some confusion where that is concerned. The Council of Ministers remain collectively responsible, and as chair of the Council of Ministers, we have started having our emergency meetings as well. So we will be keeping the general public abreast, but I would like to reiterate that we would like to remain open. We would like to remain, especially having all our key services open. We did publish our economic reopening plan, and the last phase included many of the establishments that we are now facing some challenges with. So these are the establishments that will be feeling the impact firstly in terms of heightened protocols, heightened measures, and even scaling back of certain things that may have gotten out of hand or have gotten out of hand, whereby now we can see a very striking rise in the positive cases.
And Minister of Public Health, the Honorable Richard Panafleck, gave the statistics of the latest COVID-19 cases at the virtual press briefing on Sunday, July the 26th as well. The minister said that there are 114 confirmed cases, and we are now at 36 active cases.
Today, July 26th at 12 o'clock, medical doctor for infectious disease control and epidemiologist Dr. Raisa Chong Kong Fat informed me that St. Martin has received a new record of 114 confirmed coronavirus cases. We are now 36 active cases that are being monitored closely by the Center of Preventive Services, CPS, with the support of our local medical professionals. Naturally, the rapid spike in active COVID-19 cases over the past 5 days has the full attention of my ministry and the government of St. Martin in general. When we as a community face challenges, the government and its citizens must combine our efforts to combat these challenges, and we have seen no more significant problem than COVID-19. This virus has reduced economic activity around the world and caused significant loss of life even here at home on our island. Despite the challenges, we continue to balance our citizens' financial well-being with the need to protect the health and well-being of everyone. Balancing economic activity with the health of our people will at times mean making unpopular decisions, but the health and safety of our citizens must come first. As such, I have instructed the ministry to reintroduce strict social measures to reduce the spread of COVID-19 and flatten the curve. The ministry is finalizing a law that will make it mandatory for people to wear masks in public places and practice social distancing. Failure to comply with the law will result in the offenders being penalized.
Meanwhile, even the minister's vehicles are not safe or have been spared from vandalism. The Honorable Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor, VSR, Richard Panafleck, woke up on Friday morning only to find his government-issued vehicle on blocks. According to the police department, this occurred sometime after 11 p.m. on Thursday, July 23, 2020. And in news out of St. Barts at this time, President of the Collectivité of St. Barts, Mr. Bruno Magras, has put the story to bed that travelers use his island as a hub to enter St. Martin unchecked by the ferry. In a press release, he referred in veiled terms to the story, saying that there are many confusing reports in the region and abroad about borders opening or remaining closed. St. Barts adheres strictly to protocols for the entry of travelers, Magras stated. The authorities will refuse departing passengers who do not comply with those protocols and those who do not have St. Barts as their final destination. The protocol St. Barts has put in place to keep a grip on the corona pandemic contains 5 measures. All arrivals have to provide documents showing proof of a negative PCR polymerase chain reaction test that is done 72 hours prior to arrival. Travelers must present those documents prior to departure and upon arrival. The antibody, the IgC, and the IgM COVID tests are not acceptable. St. Barts only accepts a screening nasopharyngeal PCR collection screening. All arriving passengers are screened by a dedicated CPS provider. The screening includes probing for symptoms and temperature checks. Arriving passengers must also provide approved documentation of a negative COVID-19 CPR test done within the prior 72 hours. They must also register contact details and information about their length of stay and place of residence. The government also partners with rental agencies, hotels, and concierges to ensure follow-up testing at a laboratory for those who stayed longer than 8 days on the island. And still to come, the Minister of Justice says that they are working on putting a stop to large public gatherings. We'll have the details to that story and much more when SXM's Daily News returns.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
And welcome back, viewers. In light of the rise in positive COVID-19 cases on the island, the St. Martin Medical Center has suspended inpatient visiting hours until further notice as a precautionary measure in an effort to continue to safeguard the health of their patients and staff. As of July the 24th, only persons with outpatient appointments will be allowed to enter the facilities. Certain exceptions are made as it concerns medically indicated companions and parents or guardians of minors. However, these regulations will be strictly enforced. To further reduce the amount of traffic at the St. Martin Medical Center, medical specialists will conduct consultations over the phone where possible. When asked about the reasons for the increased vigilance, St. Martin Medical Center's Outbreak Management Team, the OMT, said it has come to their attention that unfortunately some patients and persons visiting St. Martin Medical Center have not been accurate or completely forthcoming as it pertains to the mandatory COVID-19 pre-triage questionnaire that requires visitors and incoming patients to declare symptoms, travel history, and contact with suspected or confirmed cases prior to entering the facilities. Because of this and the increase of positive cases on our island, we are forced to suspend patient visiting hours until further notice and adopt stricter controls at all of our entry points. We would like to reiterate that while there are 2 COVID-19 confirmed or suspected patients admitted to the St. Martin Medical Center, all COVID-19 care is administered at the Mobile Medical Pavilion, the MMP, and ICU Hospitainer located across from the St. Martin Medical Center at the basketball and tennis courts of the Rahul Illis Sports Complex. St. Martin Medical Center is committed to safeguarding the health and well-being of all of our patients and staff and will continue to make adjustments as this situation changes. St. Martin Medical Center thanks the general public for their cooperation and understanding and urges anyone experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, which is cough, fever, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, chills, repeated shaking with chills, muscle pain, headache, sore throat, and or loss of taste or smell to call their house doctor or call the CPS's hotline at 914. And in other news for you at this time, the Minister of Justice, the Honorable Anna Richardson, spoke of public order and has, in her capacity as Minister of Justice, said that as government, they are working on putting a stop to large public gatherings if the social distancing rule of 6 feet is not adhered to.
According to the Police Kingdom Act, the Minister of Justice is responsible and accountable for both the public order and assistance task that well all for the justice task of police. Pursuant to Article 1 of the General Police Ordinance, everyone must adhere to during extraordinary circumstances and must obey to the regulations established by the Minister of Justice in the interest of public order, peace, and security. In this regard, I as Minister of Justice, in close consultation with the police force and the public prosecutor, announces the following. On the 11th of March, the World Health Organization declared that the coronavirus is a global pandemic. Based on this declaration, the government of St. Martin took fast and effective measures to prevent the virus from spreading on a national level. By stepping up its risk management and implementing and strict enforcement of specific preventative measures, the strict social distancing rule of 6 feet away from one another, the government was able to curb or even halt the spreading of the coronavirus within a few months. Recently, it has become apparent that the risk of infection with the coronavirus is still present on St. Martin and has also become a great concern. At the same time, it is observed that the public has become a bit less disciplined in keeping with aforementioned 6 feet social distancing rule. For maintaining public order and safety, as well as safeguarding the health of the people of St. Martin in this extraordinary circumstance, it is therefore decided that government inspectors and police officers must put a stop to all public and private events and gatherings if the social distancing rule of 6 feet away from one another is not adhered to. Also, everyone, such as individuals, shop owners, restaurant owners, entrepreneurs, must strictly follow and comply with all measures taken by the competent authorities to prevent, limit, or combat the risk of coronavirus to public safety. These precautionary and mitigating measures of the government are an effort to help mitigate the spread of the virus. The inspectors and police officers will strictly enforce these measures. All instructions issued by the police for executing and enforcing these measures should therefore be strictly and immediately respected. Non-compliance with these measures will be considered a violation of the General Police Ordinance and the Penal Code. The community is encouraged to stay informed, practice good hygiene, be aware, be prepared. As a community, we are in this together. We have to help each other by staying alert and disciplined and continue to slow the spread of COVID-19.
And as we continue now with more news, at the virtual press briefing that was held on Sunday last, Minister of TEAT, the Honorable Ludmila de Wever, spoke of the business safety and the precautions that must be adhered to. The minister said that considering the recent spike in cases of COVID-19, the island will start to scale back on their de-escalation measures, specifically the economic activity in Phase 4.
Considering the recent spike in cases, as previously indicated by the Prime Minister, Dr. Raisa, Viesa, and Justice Ministers, we will start to scale back on our de-escalation measures, specifically the economic activity in Phase 4 of our reopening plan involving businesses with large gatherings, such as market vending, bars, nightclubs, dance clubs, and any other entertainment businesses. At this point, we are asking all the mentioned businesses to strengthen their operational plans on how they will maintain social distancing and other recommended protocols or required protocols, such as wearing a mask, requiring hand sanitizing, and overall maintaining a clean and sterile environment. The cooperation and compliance from all businesses are essential to business continuity and to ensuring our safety. As long as we can contain the virus, economic activity can continue. In collaboration with the Ministry of Justice, the Ministry of TEAT will assist in controls and inspections of businesses to ensure that these operational plans are carried out. I encourage the public to follow the guidelines and adhere to the protocols in place by the various establishments and make every effort to make these guidelines part of your daily life in order to protect yourself, your family, and the community. As crucial as continued business activity is to our livelihood and our economy, conducting business in a healthy and safe manner continues to be our top priority.
Now, turning to our weather forecast for July the 27th, 2020, a tropical wave will bring moisture and instability to the region. This will increase the probability of cloudiness, showers, and a likelihood of isolated thunderstorms. Persons and motorists operating in areas prone to flooding should remain vigilant. Seas will be moderate and peak near 6 feet during this forecast period. Shower activity associated with a broad area of low pressure approximately 1,000 miles east-southeast of St. Martin has become a little less organized since last night, Sunday night. However, environmental conditions are still expected to become favorable for development, and a tropical depression or tropical storm will likely form within the next couple of days. The system is forecast to move westward to west-northwestward at 15 to 20 miles per hour and could begin affecting portions of the Lesser Antilles on Wednesday or Wednesday night. So the outlook through Wednesday midday, generally cloudy and windy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Now let's turn to your 3-day forecast. And still to come, DCNA is concerned about the support nature conservation and climate change is receiving. You'll have the details to that story and more when SXM Daily News returns.
Make use of GEBE mobile banking with easy access and direct usage of face recognition, PIN code, or fingerprint. Download GEBE mobile banking app and make your transaction from anywhere at any time. For more information, visit web-bank.net/quick-login.
And welcome back, viewers. And in news now out of Curacao, details were still sketchy on Curaçao's intention to close its border to St. Martin due to the spike in coronavirus here. When this was first suggested by epidemiologist Dr. Izzy Kirsten-Bluth on Friday, there were only 18 recent infections, but by Sunday afternoon, this had doubled to 36. Curaçao's Prime Minister Eugene Roegenath said that no decision had yet been made, but that they would follow the medical experts' advice. The latter spoke of not allowing free entry to passengers coming from Princess Juliana International Airport. Observers in Phillipsburg, meanwhile, has considered completely banning traffic between the two islands rather drastic. They pointed out that not only Curaçao, but also Aruba, Bonaire, and even St. Eustatius have reported new cases. However, the difference is that in those instances, it regarded mainly travelers already isolated pending the result of their tests taken on arrival. And in other news, the Dutch Caribbean Nature Alliance, DCNA, is concerned about the support nature conservation and climate change is receiving as part of the discussions within the Kingdom of the Netherlands for corona crisis support to Aruba, Curaçao, and St. Martin. We have been following the discussions between the governments within the Kingdom regarding the liquidity support to Aruba, Curaçao, and St. Martin very carefully, and are concerned that within these discussions, there seems to be a lack of consideration for the environment, nature conservation, and climate resiliency on and for the islands, commented the interim director of DCNA, Tatio Berfoots.
We are currently in an unprecedented situation brought about by a global pandemic, compounded by the fact that we still are dealing with some significant economic challenges. So, with the whole discussions that are occurring within the kingdom in terms of support going out to various sectors of the economy of the three constituent states within the kingdom, we are concerned about the lack of mention about nature conservation on the one hand, and on the other hand, also climate change resiliency. I mean, the pandemic is a situation that we're currently faced with. Eventually, whether or not the virus mutates or a vaccine or treatment has been developed, which will bring us out of the current stage of the pandemic, is inevitable. It will happen sooner or later, but then we are still faced with issues related to building back our economy, building it back sustainably. Mm-hmm. And then, we're also faced by the impacts that climate change will have on our island, whether it's in terms of sea level rise, increased hurricanes, droughts, etc., etc. And we're a bit concerned as a conservation network that represents all 6 conservation, park management conservation organizations on the island, that there has been thus far very little mention about, especially nature conservation and climate change related to, the islands emerging from the impacts of the corona crisis.
And in this notice from GEBE, they are informing the general public that electricity supply to Dawn Beach, which includes Trumpet Shell Road, Green Star Shell Road, King Helmet Road, King Helmet Drive, and surrounding areas, that interruption will be on Tuesday, July the 28th, and Thursday, July the 30th, 2020, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. This outage will allow the maintenance department at GEBE to carry out the necessary work to their distribution system, and they apologize for any inconvenience caused. And still to come, a member of the anti-poverty platform addresses the issue of high food prices on Dutch St. Martin. We'll have the details of that story when SXM Daily News returns. Welcome back, viewers. And as we continue now with more news for you at this time, member of the anti-poverty platform, Claire Elshot, speaking at their weekly press briefing on Friday last, addressed the high food prices on Dutch St. Martin. Mrs. Elshot says that the organization has been addressing the issue with government for quite some time now. The member of the organization expounds further.
Some 22 stores in Guadeloupe have implemented the scheme since 2013. Here on the southern side of St. Martin, the weekly unions have asked the Council of Ministers to bring down the cost of living too. But all the Prime Minister could say is that it was included in the governing program, which nobody has seen as yet. The Minister of Tiat came out with a press release on July the 1st that high cost of food had the priority attention of the ministry. What were the measures that the Minister, De Wever, has taken to bring down the prices of food in St. Martin, which is the highest in the Kingdom of the Netherlands? Nothing. With all the public relations on how ministry is trying to open the island and stimulate the economy, it becomes very clear that this coalition government, just as all coalition governments before, do not have the poor and the needy households at heart. It seems that elected and appointed officials we have favor business as with the payroll support program, but they are slow to protect the rights of the workers who are being abused.
And as we end this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening, in news out of French St. Martin, President of the Collectivité on French St. Martin, Mr. Daniel Gibbs, was on a field trip visit to the Ticket Sport facility in Friars Bay last Friday. President Daniel Gibbs visited the children present on the Ticket Sport device during the summer holiday last week. The president went to the beach at Friars Bay and was accompanied by his first vice president, Valerie Damasso, the director of youth and sports, Charles-Henri Pelver, and the head of the sports department, Wendy Gums. No less than 48 children were on site on Friday morning to take advantage of the water activities organized by the Collectivité. Introduction to windsurfing, paddleboarding, optimist boating, and beach tennis. The Ticket Sport system welcomed 48 children in July and will welcome another 48 children in August. Each session is already full as the device is completely free for children this year. The children who registered for the sport ticket range in ages of 7 to 14 years. They are supervised by staff in vacation employment within the Collectivité and 7 supervisors in BAPAT training, their Professional Aptitude Certificate of Assistant Facilitator. The activities are supervised by the Sports Department. President Gibbs and his team wanted to diversify the offer made to the children this year, while respecting health rules and offering activities related to the sea with a strong desire to introduce children to water sports. And with that, viewers, we've come to the end of this edition of SXM Daily News for this evening. I am Valerie Van Putten, thanking you so much for joining me. And just a reminder that this and other programs are available online. simply log on to stmartinmediacenter.com for viewing. And on behalf of the SXM Daily News team, we thank you for watching and plan on meeting you right back here again tomorrow.